Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Amrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya
Hello, hello. It is Tuesday night, 5:55. I'm wiggling in my seat again. That seems to be how I show up lately in this chair. It's like squirmy, very squirmy. Thank you. Thank you to Alicia Mathewson for that incredible chant. The Asato Ma Prayer, if you're not familiar with it, it's this ancient Sanskrit chant that says, guide me, lead me from untruth into truth, from darkness into light, and from death to immortality. And so I offer my gratitude to Alicia for allowing us to sing and chant this together every week when we gather, and for those sounds, those beautiful, powerful sounds to hold the foundation of all that comes up in the space, all that flows through, and all of the love that I feel here in this container. When I was chanting along with Alicia, all I could think is, oh my gosh, she's gonna be here soon. She's gonna be here soon and we can chant together in person. It's been almost a year since I met Alicia for the first time. We met through sound. We met through her albums, her CDs, and then I sent her my book and she replied and we became friends, and then she came here and we had this awesome 11/11 portal event last year at my home with singing and healing and crystals. It was just beautiful. And then we haven't seen each other since. So it is going to be such a beautiful reunion to have my friend back in town, and to have time to sing and laugh and share stories and be with other friends and hang out. It's just going to be amazing. So if you are local, or if you're not local and you want to drive or fly or swim or whatever, however you need to get here, train, what is it, planes, trains, and automobiles. If you have no plans for the 11/11 weekend, or if your plans aren't as fun as the plans I'm describing, then you can come and hang out with us. We're going to have, I didn't know I was going to start with this, but this is what we're starting with. It's the thing I'm most excited about. Friday, November, what is the date? 9th? 8th? 9th. I think it's the 9th. I think the 9th is Friday, and we have a new moon circle here upstairs. So I'm in my office right now. And so we'll have the new moon circle upstairs. I do healing sessions over there on my couch, and we just celebrate together in the evening. And then Saturday evening, we're having the concert with Alicia in the living room. Brad and I are hosting that. So we're going to have a whole bunch of people coming to our house and singing and dancing and chanting and listening to Alicia tell stories. And then from Friday morning through Sunday afternoon, I am holding space for a small group of 11 souls to come and move through the beauty that is this 11/11 portal of energy, to really be present together and chant and sing and share stories, our own stories, and witness each other and do energy healing. My friend Carrie is going to be here on Saturday morning. We're going to do breath work, which is so profound, so deep. So releasing of old stuck energy. And so we're going to have, and then Sunday we wrap up with meditation. I host these calls on Sundays where we do energy healings, and it's in this virtual meditation space. So we'll hold it from my living room on Sunday morning, and it's just, it's just gonna be so good, so good. Of course, since I claimed that it was going to be connected to the throat chakra, which goes from, I'm looking like it's a mirror, goes from like here, the top of your shoulders, all the way to like here, underneath your eye sockets, which includes your ears, your neck, the top part of your spine, your jaw, your mouth, your nose. So much going on in the throat chakra. And so we're going to be really focusing on using breath and sound and stories and listening and sharing, expressing, smelling. We're going to use all of the throat chakra and activate a really powerful and beautiful shift for everyone who shows up for this space. So yeah, as I claimed that last week, oh, the throat chakra has been doing its own clearing right here. In good ways though, like I'm using my voice more, I am laughing more, I am singing more, I'm listening a little more. It's really good. So for those who host retreats, you already know how this works. When you claim that you're going to help someone else do something, you're going to guide people through some sort of major awareness and shift. I love when I read people's descriptions of the weekend because I'm like, oh boy, are you calling it in? The person who's holding the space has to clear all that stuff in themselves first before they can hold that space. If they don't, guess what, people? It shows up. It shows up in the container. And then all of that stuff that you haven't done of your own healing, your own work, it plays out in the group that you're hosting. So be careful what you claim because it's going to come up. I have learned this the hard way. I have learned this by watching other healers who I just treasure really go into their shit and suffer and struggle and like sludge their way through a retreat or a gathering. Even the word retreat, isn't it so stupid? Like I like the word gathering more. The word retreat, it feels like we're all gonna go get pulled backwards. We're gonna be retreating. We're gonna be like, it's like in war, in war times, the retreat. They're the ones who have to surrender. They have to give up the battle, give up the fight. They're the losers, and yet we use that word. I know it also has the meaning of we retreat into ourselves. We pull back the energy that's normally going out and we retreat in. But there's got to be other words that we can use than retreat. So we are using the word portal, crystalline portal, 1111 crystalline portal came through in my meditation time. And I believe the awakening that's happening on our planet is connected to crystals. It's connected to light coming through glass, through stone. It's connected to like the crystal energy that sits at the center of our planet and holds the vibration of consciousness of our planet. And so when this crystalline energy is activated by this 1111 opening of light, more light coming into our planet and anchoring itself into stones and crystals, and then lighting up the grid in even more powerful ways. When we feel the possibilities of that, 1111 crystalline and a portal, it's like this beautiful opening of awareness within each of us, of activation in how we express ourselves in the world. Like it is a powerful claiming of what is possible instead of retreat. we're gonna have a retreat. Nope, we are not. We are opening a portal. We are opening ourselves to becoming more than we've ever been. We are lighting ourselves up even more than we thought possible, and then just flowing all of that beauty out through our throat chakra. So yeah, it's a portal. It's a cool portal. How did I get on all that? Alicia, see? You see what she does? I start talking about her and blah, 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 blah. I'm off like down 10 different pathways. So Alicia flies in that Thursday. She's going to be here Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the, not the retreat. I almost said it, for the weekend. She will be here for the weekend with all of those who gather. So she'll be here at the New Moon Circle, and we'll be singing and dancing and chanting and playing and laughing and connecting and healing. And then Saturday, Carrie will be here with breath work and guiding us through this beautiful process that she's so gifted at. And then we'll all sing and chant and dance in the evening again. And yeah, so good. It's going to be so good. I know. It's like still a couple weeks away. But it's going to be so good. All right. That's not what I'm going to talk about the whole time. I mean, I'm never quite sure what I'm going to talk about the whole time, but it always just seems to flow through. So, what's going on? What's going on? A lot. What I was, the okay. This morning on the Gaia's Love podcast, it was all about directing traffic. I'll summarize it briefly, how our minds are like these traffic controllers, like air traffic controllers, or I don't know, train controllers. Like, air traffic makes the most sense. A guide who is looking from above and can see where all the airplanes need to land and can get every plane safely on the ground. They're constantly directing traffic. And so I was sharing how that is similar to our mind. Our mind is, it's always looping through all the different thoughts, and then it has to sort through everything to get to the ones that are the most important, and how meditation is a practice to do that. It's a way to really slow down and be present with all of those different airplanes that are flying around in our head. And then as we land or release the planes to the ground, we become really clear on what it is that we most want to talk about or do or create. So I shared all of that in the Gaia's Love podcast. And then I went to meditate right before this call. And I randomly always just select on YouTube a video, which is really an audio of one of Oprah and Deepak's meditations. There's always something. So and they're all related to the same thing, which is energy and soul work and healing. Like, all of them come back to the same consciousness. They're very powerful. And so it doesn't matter if the topic is about weight or abundance or health or money or whatever. It's all the same. And so I was just like, okay, give me a number. And what I got was number 17 on the shedding the weight. And I was like, okay, 17. And I go to it. I think I've listened to this one like 5 times now. It's the same one. It was 17 or 18. I think it was 17. I don't remember. It was 17 or 18, but it's called The Mind Game. That's like, of course, that's totally what's happening for me. The Mind Game. So as I was listening to it, a lot of what Deepak was sharing and Oprah was the same thing. This practice of meditation, of stillness, allows for the mind to sift and sort through all of the gunk and then get focused on what is being created. And then really stepping into alignment with that, and constantly coming back to this centered flow of energy forward. And I was just listening to that going, we do that, we practice these tools, and then we get sidetracked, so quickly. Like, one little thought that does this, it can just sort of slide in. And this mind that was clear and open and easy is suddenly going shoo, 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 shoo. And it's the same old, same old. It's the familiar words or patterns that we know aren't true, or know don't serve us, or know are going to take us down some rabbit hole and then put us in depression or anxiety or anger or lack of self-worth. Like, it takes us down these tunnels, and then we stay there, and all the creative energy that was like moving through us and ready to go into the world just like drops, right down inside of us. And it's so easy for one little thing to start the loop back up again. And this is what I find for myself. Like, one little thought can come in, and then I can be spinning again. And I meditate a lot. I practice this a lot. I clear energy constantly. I mean, I am very aware of why my soul is here and what my purpose is on this planet and what it is that I'm supposed to bring through me. And even with all of this certainty and awareness and what I would call skill, like my skill at getting my mind to, not even getting my mind, loving the strength of my mind enough to keep practicing bringing it into balance, bringing it into harmony, allowing my mind, body, spirit to rest, to center, to create. Even with all that I'm so like stable in my practice about, still a little thought can come in and I'm like down over there. It's the craziest thing. So on this full moon eve, which is another pattern I am breaking. For those who have listened to me talk about full moons before, you know, I'm not a real big fan of full moons. And I am breaking that pattern. There is a way to experience the illumination of our shadows, to experience the illumination of the parts that we want to hide within ourselves. There is a way to experience that without the world blowing up, without me having to cry or go, I mean, crying's fine. It's not really the thing. Without me having to spiral. I can have the awarenesses of patterns and triggers and things that would normally, I mean, the words are take me down, right? Things that would normally take me down. I can be aware of those and learn more about myself and have more information come through on full moons. And it doesn't mean that everything has to come to a stop, that I have to sit in the suffering of it and beat myself up or go around and not actually change anything. So I'm speaking to all of you who also have those patterns that you feel like you can't ever shake, or you feel like they trap you and then you're doing the same thing again. Awareness, this is what Deepak was saying in the meditation 17 or 18, whichever one it was, the mind game. He was saying it's not actually the change in behavior that you want to achieve first. It's the awareness that there is a behavior. That awareness is what leads to change. That awareness is the change. That's what he says in the audio. The awareness that you even do that thing is the change. And then once you're aware, it's really hard to forget. It's really hard to go back. It's like when, you know, when someone, oh, this is great. I had a friend of mine years ago, she pointed out, which all of this is so important, right? All these people have pointed out all these flaws in me. It's so important because it's helped me practice how I speak and be aware of how I show up. And since I make these videos and I'm doing the podcast, like that's an important part of my work, is to be understandable, to be clear in my communication of my message. And so all these beautiful gifts people have given me about the places and the ways that I don't do it right actually have helped me. And I remember my one friend, we worked together for a long time. She was so observant. She's like, your lips doing that twitching thing that it does when you're really mad. And she would say that. She's like, I don't think it was that obvious. I don't remember what side it was on, but she's like, your lips twitching. I was like, shit. How'd she see that? And it would be twitching away. I usually couldn't even feel it, and she could see it, and she would know. She's like, you're angry. You're angry. You're like trying to control the twitch. And then for a while it was my eyes. Like my eyes would twitch too. You know, like the energy would get trapped in my body, and so there'd be this physical manifestation of it. And then I'd have this behavior and this thing. You know, when someone tells you that, you can't forget it. You don't undo it. You don't, it's like, once you know, you can't not know. Like if someone tells you when you're eating a meal, they're like, you've got a little green thing and it's in your tooth right here. You spend the rest of your meal, you're like trying to get the thing out of your tooth and right, trying to talk like this. I know we've all been there. Once you're aware, you can't be unaware. It's the same with the mind. When you're aware that you have a pattern or behavior that isn't serving you, you can't unaware yourself of that. So when someone points out to you, I'm trying to think of examples for me. A great one. My son is getting ready to learn how to drive. And I'm a good driver, but I like to go fast, and it's not safe and it's not good, and I get that. But I remember right when we bought the minivan that I've been driving for years, right when we bought it, I was chatting with a friend, and we were going to Kings Island. Kids were in the back, and the four of us, my girlfriend and I, and the kids in the back, were all driving. And I was just so excited. I was like talking to her and like, blah, 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 blah. Like we were so excited about our day. And we were speeding, and I just wasn't, it's not that I was deliberately choosing to do it. I just wasn't paying attention, and I was just driving really fast. And my husband at the time sent me a text, and he's like, slow down. Like, slow down. And then later when I got home, he was so upset. He's like, you can't drive that fast with the kids in the car. It's not safe. Well, I have heard his voice in my head say that over and over again. And it has been like a break for me to pull my speed down, to get me to slow the pace down when I'm driving. I can hear those words that, concern in my ear. When you're aware of something, you can't be unaware of it anymore. What's another example? I feel like I'm at confession. I got twitches that go too fast. Man, my soul is like trying to humble me right now. What's another one that would serve? I guess this is a funny one. This is about my son. I'm picking on my son a little bit, but my daughter, when my son and my daughter are eating together, he chews sometimes with his mouth open. It drives her crazy. It drives her crazy. Like she literally will just be doing this. But he knows he does it now. And so when he does it, it's with the purpose of kind of, poking, digging at her a little bit. Because he knows that it's something that, rubs her the wrong way. I mean, these are silly examples, but it's to show you, like, that's how silly our mind is. That's how silly our mind is. When the mind says to us, like, you don't deserve that. You shouldn't have that thing. You don't deserve to go do that party or event or retreat, gathering, portal. You shouldn't have fun. You should work harder. You should be more serious. When the mind is giving us all these things, or one of the biggest ones that I've heard playing out so much this month is you can't trust that person. You can't trust them. Right? Here we are in this month about relationships. You can't trust them. They're going to do that again, or they're going to, whatever the story is. That thought comes in and it's familiar and we're used to it, and it starts spinning. And as it spins, it gathers speed and it gathers power. And so all of the evidence starts to come forward and add to the velocity, the movement of that thought. And it becomes like a helicopter, except it's inside of our heads. And then all of our energy goes up into our heads, which is spinning like this. And suddenly you've got chaos. And the chaos can look like a fight, an argument, a disagreement. It can look like a shutting down. It's so chaotic that you're like, whoop, right? I'm not going to speak to anyone. I'm not going to talk to anyone. We withdraw. We go in. We are fierce. We are mad. We get resentful. It can look like a projection. Like there's so much going on in my head, I can't handle it. So rah, right? I'm going to fly off the handle, literally fly off the handle, fly out. Even the words that we choose, illustrate, show the image. So when we are in this space of a loop, it's more difficult to pull out of it when it's gathered up all of that velocity and momentum and power and strength. It's harder to pull out of it when it's already gathered steam. It's like the steam engine that just starts moving. And as it moves, it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And pretty soon, like, you can't put the brakes on when it's going 100 miles. You could have put the brakes on back at 5 miles or 10 miles. You can't do it when it's at 100 and be able to slow down in time before there's a crash. So what does all of this mean? When we are in our steady, happy, comfortable, content with life, stable, know where we're going, what we're doing, like when we're in this place, the feeling of it is easy. It's calm. We don't have chaos. We are just, we're comfortable. Like, we're at ease. When the thought comes in that wants to start doing this and get our attention, it'll happen for lots of reasons. It happens to keep us safe because it's too calm, so we got to mess it up. We got to do something. We got to have something that's going wrong in our lives. We can't be happy, or we can't be that happy, or we don't deserve to be that calm. Everyone else around us is falling apart, so we should be falling apart too. The system, the body, the individual within the collective energy field of the planet, it wants to try to be similar to all of those around us, to fit in, to be part of. And so for the most part, being calm and steady and happy and content with life, that's not always, normal. It's not typical. And so we feel like we should be more upset, or we feel like we should be taking the worry from everyone and holding some of it in ourselves, or, we want our vibration to feel like part of everybody else's vibration. And so we step into the chaos. What I believe is more powerful is to hold steady with that feeling of steadiness, to hold that vibration of like peace, calm, happiness. And instead of going into the chaos, allow others to meet us in this field of energy, because it feels really good to be happy. It feels really good to be connected and not be in the chaos or the drama or the that. It feels good. And so others will naturally want to be in a space that feels this good. But if we go into the chaos with them, they can't remember what this feeling is that we can hold. So being steady and then magnetizing towards us those who are in the chaos pulls them, if we're steady enough, out of the chaos and into this space. It works. I know it works because I do it all the time. Like, people feel better when we're hanging out because my system is steady and strong and good. So what do we do when that thought comes in and we're stable and we're strong? That thought comes in and it's like, oh, you over there, remember me? I'm the one that used to play all the time with you. And that thought is starting to say, like, you're not doing it right. You should know better. Don't get too comfortable, right? That thought starts, whatever way it can kind of wind into our heads. For me, a lot of it is also about tracking. It's like, do you know what that person's doing? Do you know what's going on over there? Do you know that one's okay? Like, are you sure? Should you check on them? Right? Because when I check on them, I go out to be in their energy field and see if they're okay, instead of staying here in my energy field and being solid and strong and letting them come to me if they need something. Going out dilutes the steadiness that I am here to hold. And I mean that in an energetic sense. It's not, I have to be isolated in a bubble, with wrap around me in order to keep myself steady. It's not that. It's when the thoughts come in, I see them for what they are, and I just Everybody's good. If they weren't good, I would feel something and I would call them, or they would call me, or we would have just a quick little touch. I don't need to energetically go and track and figure out and monitor and evaluate. I can be right here. And when my energy is here and it's solid, I'm creating content. I'm sending a really steady signal out into the world that serves more people, that helps more people. Instead of diluting myself and getting sucked into one person's chaos. I'm trusting all of this is making sense. It feels totally clear to me as I'm sending it out, but I'm trusting it works for you also. And also you have a match where you wouldn't be listening to this or watching me. So when the thought comes in, we keep coming back. When the thought comes in, the awareness that you're having the thought, you notice it always comes in from the right, by the way. It's like the intuitive left side of us is very steady and strong and feeling that flow of being still. The right side is the one that's like, go do something, go, effort, force, create something. When the thought comes in, we simply are aware that the thought has come in. So when I notice my mind is saying things like, shouldn't be doing that, that's dumb, why are you on that path again? Right? Or are you sure that's really what's happening or what's going on? Like when that thought comes in, I feel it in my body as a like, oof. It doesn't feel like it's calm or easy anymore, or relaxed. There's something that starts to tighten. So, right, breath. Just breathe. When the thought comes in, just breathe and be present with it. Like, is that actually true? Is that thought true? And is that your truth? You just breathe. And sometimes, often, that's enough for the thought to go away. If it's a thought that you know you've addressed a million times before, but you're having the awareness that that thought just came in, even if it's a pattern you know, the awareness that it arrived this time, this exact moment right now, that awareness lets you change it. So simply having the thought come in and you're like, oh wait, it's that thought again. You can look at your circumstances. What were you doing that just brought that thought in? Like, were you hungry? You know, when my body is hungry or when I'm tired, when my physical body is depleted, I'm so weak. Energetically, it's like, vroom, all the thoughts come in. And that's usually when I start doubting and wondering and questioning and asking and blah. All my gunk comes up. It's because my body isn't nourished. It isn't strong. It isn't vibrant or healthy. So look, when the thought comes in, like, look at your environment. What's going on? What's happening? You know, if you're sad or lonely, those thoughts are going to come in faster. So how do you change out of sadness or loneliness? You know, I love being by myself. I mean, not all the time, but quite a bit. I'm very happy by myself because that's when creative energy moves through. And so I meditate and I chant and I sing and I walk outside and I look at the sun and, you know, I delight in the quiet, in the spaciousness that is my life. Find those things that bring you peace and joy, and then fill your life with more of that. So when the thought comes in, you pick up your journal and you're like, I know that thought's not true. I'm going to write out some things that I love, some things I'm grateful for. Gratitude is the fastest way, the fastest way to change the mind game, the fastest way. You just instantly redirect. For me, a really good one is, a good practice is when the thought comes in, my mind is thinking, it's up here. I drop the energy lower, so I feel. I have an email that I sent to myself after one of my new moon circles, and it was a thought, an awareness that came in my meditation. It was keep tuning back into the feeling of the healing sessions, the feeling of them. And so when my mind is like, blah, 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 before it starts becoming a helicopter and spinning too fast, I will drop my attention down to here. I'll literally put down what I'm doing and I'll just close my eyes and be like, and I'll remember like one specific person and something miraculous that shifted in a session, like something, I mean, you can feel the energy, something where it just, a doorway opened and love like poured through. And that person shifted into a new level of living, a new way of experiencing this human journey. And that feeling that I have in me, it dispels the thought that I'm not good enough, or I'm not navigating well, or I'm behind schedule, or whatever it is, right? Like that feeling, it shifts, it kicks out, kicks out the story. And so the thought just, it just dissolves away. And then I float in the feeling for a while, and a minute, a few minutes, and then that feeling motivates me into something new. So I go back to the project, or I text the person, or I send a quick email, or I look at the sun and smile, or I listen to a new song. There's the flow of energy when it is coming from love and it's moving. It just goes like this. You can slow it down and enjoy it, or you can just create. But it's way more fun than this helicopter in the mind. Who knew that's where we were going to go? What I thought we were going to talk about was relationships, and yet I feel like what we felt or experienced together is the best way to navigate relationships. When I started this month, I wrote my newsletter, my article, my blog about how this month is for deepening relationships. It's to create the behaviors and patterns that take us deeper into the primary relationships in our lives, and how that choice to go deeper, it's really scary, it's really vulnerable, and it also has the greatest rewards. When we trust, when we allow ourselves to be seen fully for who we are, and we ask, expect for, allow the other to show us who they are, and then we have these really meaningful conversations and moments and experiences and heart-to-heart connections and soul-to-soul commitments. When that starts to happen, we all drop deeper. So the individual choosing to go land more firmly, more solidly in a relationship. We all do that. Collectively, we all anchor more into love. And when there's that much more love being shared and expressed and created, there's less room for fear. There's less room for those little thoughts to come do their thing, because we're all like firmly in our relationships, and they're solid and they're good. The trust deepens. The vulnerability deepens. The communication strengthens. And so we're all more. We're more. I have been experiencing that in so many of my relationships this month. I've made conscious choices to pull back from some group spaces and say, no, I want individual conversations. I want to feel where you are, and I can feel that more clearly when it's just you and I, having these conversations, or these sharing of moments and stories. Like for my New Moon circles, for example, you know, there's a community of people that are upstairs who I love, all of them. They're beautiful beings. And the individual time, one-on-one, when I bring someone downstairs and we sit on my couch and we have these 20-minute healings, the trust that they extend to me is humbling and profound. And then their willingness to go deep, to share what is troubling them, to allow me to witness and reflect back to them who they are at their highest potential. When we have those intimate one-on-one moments, it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of words. It doesn't take much except that full presence, that full listening, seeing, loving, opening the heart. And there can be lots of community activity going on, but that intimate one-on-one, that deeper relationship, it creates bonds that can last a long time. And it can change the direction of someone's path. So don't underestimate the power you have when you are fully present with someone and you heart to heart connect with them. When you ask them, like, can we go deeper into knowing each other? And that doesn't, I'm not talking about sexual deeper. I mean, that could be for your primary relationship perhaps, but the deeper of, I will let you see who I am. I will show you my heart. And can you please, you know, match that by showing me yours? Like, can we connect at that level? It's scary. It's super risky. And there may be times your heart gets hurt. There may be times you think you can trust someone and they're not able to meet you at that deeper intimacy. Not because it's you, because there's something wrong with you, because they don't have the capacity to go that vulnerable, to be that authentic. It's not yours, it's theirs to work through. Your willingness to extend that invitation, to be vulnerable and open your heart, that's your work. Keep doing that, right? That's my work. No matter how many times I get burned by someone, and this is a pattern I'm aware of, I still keep my heart open. I will just fall in love with these beautiful souls that I meet and that I just see who they are and I adore them, I treasure them. And, you know, I go all the way in. I love all the way. And sometimes, you know, people pull back from that. They have work that they're doing of their own and, you know, they're not ready to meet me in that space, or they don't they don't enjoy what they see in me, or there is something that isn't a resonance, and so they pull back. You know, that's not mine to clear or heal or fix. My work is to just keep opening my heart and keep sharing who I am and being vulnerable. So sometimes it hurts. Sometimes we get you know, that desire to like, oof, I don't want to go down that path again. Yeah, I've said this so many times, like an open heart is the strongest heart. It is the most powerful heart, because nobody can actually destroy your heart when it's always open. It just keeps opening, and it just keeps opening again. You know, nobody can take you down. So I offer that as encouragement. You know, we're going through a full moon in Taurus tomorrow towards a new moon in Scorpio in November. And there's a lot of energy moving on our planet. You know, we might get our feelings hurt. We might want to be vulnerable with someone and they don't want to be vulnerable back, or they're just not quite ready for going deeper. That's their work, not yours. So remember that, and remember me saying that to you, and trust that you can't be destroyed. Your heart cannot be destroyed. It cannot not exist. Your heart is this beautiful energy field that is fully connected to your soul and to your divinity and to your source, your God. Like, you can't be destroyed. So keep opening up your heart. I encourage you, keep deepening your relationships. There is treasure beyond measure. There is such gold, such beauty in those deeper relationships. And if you get the message that someone doesn't want that, you know, just sit with it and exhale, right? And then open your heart and try again with someone else when you're ready. All right, I don't know who that was for, but that was pretty direct message from my soul, from my guides, from my source, that we are here to love. We are here to love big. So big. And that is what we're doing. That is what we're doing this weekend. We celebrate my parents' 50th anniversary of when they met. Their wedding anniversary is next year, but we're celebrating this weekend the 50th anniversary when my mother and my father fell in love. When they met, when their eyes crossed at a party, a black and white party. I guess I'll tell the story. My mom is South African, and she was living there as a woman in her 20s when my dad, a man from America, the American, the dashing American, came over to South Africa and was invited to attend a black and white party hosted by my parents. I'm making this so romantic, aren't I? Which it really is. Like 50 years ago, black and white party, so everyone had to wear black and white, and they were all dressed up. And my mom said my dad walked in and he had on a safari suit, which is not black and white. You know, like in Tarzan, the safari suit. That's how my dad rolls. It's like so cool. It's funny, my husband said that my dad looks like Drew Carey when he was younger. Same glasses, same haircut, same sort of build. So picture Drew Carey in a safari suit going to a black and white party. That was my dad. And yet, my beautiful mother fell in love with my gorgeous father. And then, dum bum 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 bum. 3 kids, 50 years later, we are celebrating this weekend. The joy of being Tom and Cynthia's daughter. It is so good. It is so good to be their daughter and to witness like love. You want to talk about keeping your heart open and loving and loving and loving and loving and loving. I mean, those two, they are a beautiful example of how to love. So on Saturday we are partying, mom style, dad style, which is lots of good food, and we're gonna have Frank Sinatra playing on the radio, and we're gonna be all dressed up, and we're gonna have family and friends, and it's going to be amazing. So that is this weekend, and then next weekend we rest, and then the next weekend is the 11/11 celebration here at my home. So, and then 2 weeks after that is Thanksgiving, and then a month after that is Christmas, and it's the end of the year. What? Oh, time. Okay, I have really gone on tonight. I am going to play a little Alicia Mathewson to wrap us up. Of course, the one that I picked is Breathe In, Breathe Out. perfect as we talk about the throat chakra. And exhaling when those thoughts come in and want to do the helicopter. Right? We breathe in and we breathe out. We fall down, we stand up. You'll love this song if you don't know it. All right, let us get set up. Hold on one second. We are going to share. Come on. And
all right. I am learning how to be a wave and stay in the flow. I am learning how to be brave, even when I think I don't know. I stand up and I fall down. Get up again and look around. Practice trust, feel the doubt. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. Like the sun and the moon, I stand up and I fall down. Get up again and look around. Practice trust, feel the doubt. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe. We are all learning how to be awake and stay in the flow. We are all learning how to be brave, even when we think we don't know. We stand up and we fall down. Get up again and look around. Practice trust, feel the doubt. We breathe in and we breathe out. I am you and you are me. We're all birthing a brand new sea. It's okay to take a break, laugh a little while we wake, dance around like a fool. Forget everything you learned in school. Open up and feel what's true. Breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in.
So good. Alicia Mathewson, do you see why you need to come to the concert? Or have her come to your house and do a concert in your city. Like, she's so good. So good. World tour next year. We've already started talking about it. Global. Yeah, life is good. Life is so good. I send you so much love tonight.